Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joseph Guargenti with KB1Pro. Today we're going to be doing another demo. We are waiting on a few participants to join the conference call. And as soon as they do, we'll get rolling. Just wanted to say hi to everybody, let you know what's going on here. We're building out the project management office suite for SAP Biz.ONE. So this is going to use like all of the standard documents that are inside of SAP. So when we got the project management, so all of these documents that are in the new project management in SAP, and I say new, it was in 9.2, but they've made some improvements in 9.3, which gave us that link that we needed between a few different document types, one being like the activities. There was kind of a link in there before, but there was like one or two fields that were missing, and we had added them prior to 9.3 coming out just to play around with it. And then they added them. I was like, ooh, nice. That's awesome. So the documents that we kind of tie into would be the project management, of course. Now, this project management kind of is along the lines of more like the waterfall methodology and not the agile methodology, which is something that we adopted, oh, what was it, about 2 years ago or so. I mean, since I've been programming, like in '85, we only used the waterfall method. And even when I saw the up and coming agile, I kind of looked at it and said, I'm not sure how that would work out. So we were running Redmine, which is a pretty cool application as well, built on Ruby on Rails. Every time we did an upgrade, because we made so many modifications, every time we would like do an upgrade of Redmine, it would just, we'd find broken issues and stuff like that. So we kind of said, okay, we're done with that. We kind of looked at another application because we're kind of a Drupal fans. And our friends over at, what is it, Bright Solutions, they're out of Germany. They had this application called Urpel, which was pretty cool, but we needed a lot more functionality than what was in Urpel at that time. So our hunt began, and we looked at several applications. Gosh, it must have been 10 or more, and I don't mean just looked at. What we did was we installed them, played around with them for like a month or so, kind of just feeling them out, you know, where the shortcomings were, like open project, or whatever it is. But we looked at all of those, and none of them really fit the bill. One of the things that we're looking at doing is, of course, since Tuleap is an open source platform, which means it's free to use and free to install it anywhere you'd like, we thought this one would fit the bill. And with the flexibility that's built into what they call the trackers are just like a container to hold information. Well, you set up these trackers the way you would like them to work. So let's see, we pop into, make sure this is on all of my workspaces so I can see it. The trackers. Actually, you know what? I'll show you we had a little oopsie on Monday. Did an upgrade and I lost a few things in our trackers. But this is how I kind of set up the trackers. It, the the first couple letters here are actually the SAP tables that they link to, and then what it is, like attachments or activities, um, project management, sub-projects, and documents, project codes, because project codes are, or yeah, project codes, show you that real quick, are these right here for the financials. Very important to set all that up when you put together your project. Excuse me. And then, of course, we got time tracking. And then how we kind of set this up, and this is kind of what broke on Monday, is that we put our information into these fields right here. So our to-do, progress, you know, like a resolution type. So this is like for activities. We put those in there, and then what we can do then is only update these here, and no matter where we're using them throughout umpteen million projects or whatever, or different scenarios, this information would come along. So when we're updating it from SAP or updating SAP from Tuleap, when we add a new option in our dropdowns, it just syncs between the two. If I can pull up maybe a little bit better one. Oh, subjects is pretty good. So inside of activities, open up activities. But when you have activities, you have, you know, your different levels. You have your calls, meeting, tasks, other, you know, and then you have these types that they can also be. And then under the types, there's subjects. So like here we see that for a call of type general, there's no options. But as soon as we switch to something like a task, and we say that this is a support, now we get a whole bunch of options that we can use. And when it shows support here, this is how we're doing the support ticket. As you can see here, we collect the information from Tuleap that we need to sync the two back and forth between the two, so that information can flow between them. Then you have inactive and closed, and those are also handled at the tracker level. Open for tickets. So tickets are going to use, like I said, just the basic information that's inside of an activity, with a few extra fields, like I said, to keep us in. Take a look at our manage fields. You can see how complex some of these can get. So here we have our own status that we can use. Now these statuses, say like new, to do, in progress, maybe we want to pause, and since this is a support ticket, we may need additional information from the submitter to know what to help resolve the. And then when we move it to like the done stage, we'll give a reason why we're putting it into the done stage. So take a look at that. You know, we fixed it, it's a duplicate, so we're not going to take care of it. Unable to reduce, you know, your standard. And you can add as many more that you'd like. If you want to add your own, right here. Now that actually becomes part of the drop-down boxes. Oh, sorry. that. I'd like to show you. So if we take a look here at the status, see that we different stages. Done is where we would mark it as inactive, and then close would mark it as. Here, so let's take a look at the board. You can see that all of these that we have across the top here are the same ones that we have in our selections. So as we take our cards, we move them to, so this is a new one. We want to mark that as something to do. Now one of the support members will look at that and say, oh, okay, that's something to do. And then they'll move it to in progress. And then there's different things, like you have to assign it to somebody if you're going to move it to in progress. So maybe we're going to send that. I've added the employee as one. Send it to the manager for now. Boom. Now we can see it's assigned to the manager. You can move it to pause time. Work on the ticket. So see that these are here. So if we go back to, they're ringing in my head. It was just a little ringing in my head there. Someone was calling at the top there. So as you can see here, we'll just go administration again. Or, oops. So you decide that you want an additional stage. You add your stage. Bit. Now you can give it a color. Maybe you like deep purple. And my stage doesn't really want to close. You want to put it after it. Now if we go back and we take a look at, you can see now you have your own stage that you can. Now you might not be able to move them directly into there because you may need to set up the workflow. So let's hop over here again to administration. You'll see that we have a workflow. And this is kind of how I have my workflow set up. So now we added this new stage here in the middle, which nothing goes to right now. And we won't mess with that. So, oh, you saw when I moved it from the to-do list and I dropped it into in progress, I believe it, or no, I dropped it from new to to-do. Now when we did that, these are the only people who are allowed to move it from one page to another. I only allowed the managers to move that, and then we have a little marker that marks our time, so we know how much time was spent in each one of the stages. Okay, just ended a little message that some of my words were being swallowed. I don't know by whom. Well, don't need that. So you can put your own little markers here. If you have like other additional things, like on an activity, you have additional fields on the activity, and so we'll say that there's a date field commit there, so we can get our date field. So then maybe when we move it into the to-do list, we might have another timer. This start time and end time are directly related to the SAP start time, end time. So you can automatically set those as soon as you move them into that stage, and I believe I do that already. out of that because I think in progress. Yeah, see, I automatically set the start time. So then the start time is, when we moved it into the in progress. So we don't even have to think about when the clock started for this activity, because we automatically mark it. And then I believe as we move it into the done section, progress, and we move to done section, we set the end time, and we set the inactivity on the activity to 1, meaning that's true, it's inactive now. Then area that says, so now we're in the done section, so we can move it to maybe back to-do list because we found another issue or wasn't solely it wasn't fully resolved. But if we move it into the close section, we also set the close bit or the close flag for the activity. Now you can't do anything with it anymore. Now it's closed. Just like most standard SAP document. Move in the closed section. Finished. Take a look at some other fields that we have. So inside of activities, like I was showing, you can have all these different activity types, like the none, phone call, campaigns, other. Those are all standard out of SAP. And then these are the ones we added into SAP. And then, of course, since we're in support, these are the ones that we display to the user so they can pick how they'd like or what the issue is that they're having. Doing a little stretching here. All right, then we have our customer, our BP codes, so we can tie those into between the business partner inside of SAP. I can kind of show you that too. So here we have customer 1 and customer 2. Now inside of SAP, get rid of this. Let's open up. Take a look at some of the business partners. So this customer 1 is the customer 1 we had shown in Tuleap. And if we take a look at the contact people, so all the people for this company that would have a login account for Tuleap would be defined in the regular contact person section. Again, we're trying to stick with standard SAP documents. This way you don't have to hunt around for, okay, I disabled this partner. I set them to be inactive. I don't want them, I don't have them as a customer anymore. So why would I want them to still have access to, your online ticketing or project management? So we just added a couple user-defined fields down here, which link this customer or with this user's login with the one that's inside of SAP. So no longer do you search around for anything. If you set the whole company to be inactive, then all of the people who had rights, they would end up getting set to like suspended. Now they're suspended and they can't access the system anymore or access support tickets or maybe some projects that they used to have up there. They're no longer there. But you can also, if you want to still grant them some privileges, to the system online, Tuleap Online, you can grant that you can move them into a different category or a different group category, different group. So if we take a look at administration, you can set up groups. I set up these groups. So I have my employees. We have our my SAP API. This allows the communication between SAP and Tuleap to take place with this user here, or users, however many in there. And there you can see we have customer 1 and customer 2 that are defined in the BP customers. We also then have in our groups, we have vendors. Vendors are cool because if you use an outside vendor to help you resolve things with your customers, if a ticket comes in, a support ticket comes in that really belongs to the vendor, you can just assign that support ticket to that vendor, and they'll get an email because there's email alerts. But they'll get an email, and then they'll know that they have to work on it. So they don't have to have Tuleap running on their side. They'll just get an email with a link to the issue, and then they'll just go online and they'll resolve the issue using your system, which is a really good way of doing things because this is your customer. So passing it off in emails or phone calls, there could be misunderstanding who's in charge of what, who's supposed to be responsible to resolve an issue that could get lost, as well as chain of custody, knowing all the steps and where it came from. Now, one of the things inside the SAP world, or in any world, most companies have an ability to allow you to go to their website, submit a support ticket, and then, so there's many steps in order to take and submit a support ticket if it's related to SAP. Wouldn't it be sweet if, inside of SAP you can just click a button and boom, the ticket was there. Let's go back here and see what kind of, right now, we have a few tickets that we have submitted here. But now let's hop over into SAP. And thought I had, oh yeah, I have a support ticket. Boom. So I need help. And let's mark the time. And what time is it? It is 11:27. 11:27. Then garbage. And then hit the submit button. And then this will end up going into Tuleap, but we also are planning on doing a staging so that for approval for submitting information into Tuleap. So maybe you have a way of handling support tickets internally. So maybe your first line of defense is to do that. So you handle the support tickets in-house, and then things that are needed to be passed on to like the business partner or a vendor of yours, you can do that. Here. Ooh, let's just close that. We'll open up it. Oh, ticket. So now if we hop back on over, refresh. Go. Now, what's sweet about this part is that if you are either internal or you're a business partner that takes, helps out the customer, you have your standard support ticket. You saw the information that I added. It wasn't very much, but proper rights. You can get in, like if you're at the manager level or you're a vendor a cloud vendor that supports some of the SAP clients that a business partner may have. You'll end up getting, they'll end up submitting this to you and giving it to you to resolve. And into the secret area. Not really secret, but we can capture all kinds of information. We can know what SAP version that they're on, who's the one that submitted the ticket, what database that they were in, if there was an email account. And I really think that this the permissions for each one of these elements that get submitted, it should really be up to the client submitting the ticket out of their SAP. So there's ability to not show some of the information or not submit some. So here we're capturing the OS version, my login name, the computer I'm on. So like if we're in a cloud hosting environment or Citrix environment, doesn't matter, but each one of the machines has its own machine name. Wouldn't it be nice to know what machine they were on when they were having the issues? And maybe some other people were having issues. So what this ends up doing, this is coming in the future for SAP business partners who also develop their own add-ons and solutions for SAP. You'll have the ability to drop in your error codes, maybe a little message, the name of your add-on or solution, the version number. This will give you additional information. Again, it's not limited to this. We could pull out the moon phases if we think that's causing an issue with SAP, or high tide and low tide. It doesn't matter. We can pull that information in and be submitted with the ticket. Right there. Okay, so that takes care of kind of like the support ticket kind of doing. Now let's go take a look. So part of collaboration is also being able to share documents. So you can, create additional, workspaces, add a new folder, and then on each one of those folders, you can give properties and permissions to read, write, or you can set up wikis. All of that is possible. So now you also see this thing here called time entry. So if, let's say for example, we drop this to in progress, we want to enter a time against it. So we're going to add a time. So the status is new, not assigned to anybody right now. The rejection reason, I'll show that in a little bit. Then employee. So I'm working on this, and I'm employee number 1. So or I'm submitting the time for employee 1 because he just sends in his sheets because he doesn't feel like doing it. You can also set the resource activity, financial project, was it a full day event, So here we'll just go, we'll pick a time. Oh, actually we started this on the 21st, but maybe we started it at 9:30. enter in that. And we want to put an end time in 11:33. 11:30. Things for linking the documents. Most of these fields you won't see. It's just that I'm the site administrator right now because I wanted to show you multiple things. Status markers. Most of this, like I said, most of this time you won't see it. For time against that. Now if we go take a look. Time. So here's employee 1. Entered a new time. So as the manager, want to allow his time to be submitted, I look it over and I go, I don't even think the individual was working that day, or the time was excessive. So let's just go back into it. We're going to say, you know what, this doesn't look right. We're going to reject it. So when we reject it, we need to give it so we're going to reject it and we'll sign it. But now, as you can see here, we have to give a rejection reason. Cannot be. So, this person entered their time from 3 weeks ago. So it's outside of our company billing cycle policy. So we say that. Say, go away. Yeah. So now it's rejected, and we're telling them that it was outside of the service company billing cycle policy, and done. Or overlapping time. And once again, once something enters the close stage, that's it. It's done for. Now these are the individual lines that you would find on the timesheet. Hopping back and forth, hop back and forth again. Those. And sheets. So that's the individual lines up there. And then what it is that did or what you worked on. And we can also link that with, projects and stuff like that. Like I said, I had some issues on Monday, so if you didn't get a chance to update this one fully, there's just one project. So I kept the old version, showing you earlier. We have all of these different type of trackers with. Let's pick a project. Let's say we're in the support ticket demo. Now, one of the things that we notice is that someone submitted a support ticket, and it's a valid support ticket, but it really is tied into a project. Come in here, open up our artifacts. You can take a look. Now, what we're going to do is associate that with maybe our project that we're working on. Our product. Oh, here's our project. So, and these are different. Pick our project that we want to associate it with. And maybe it's tied into a sprint that we're working on, or individual. Not go with that. Pick some. First, we're going to need to go to a stage. So here's our stages in this project, and I think this needs to be associated with barbecuing the food. Someone complained that it was overcooked, so they submitted a support ticket saying, "Stop burning the ribs." Okay. So now this is linked with this project. So you could have one portal for submitting your support tickets and then associating those with any one of the projects that you're working on. And boom, tied together. Now, one of the things with SAP is that for the different types of documents, so for each one of the additional things like an activity or open issue, is that you want to you need to associate that with a stage. So it would be very complex or difficult to ask the end user to go ahead and submit that against sub project, sub project pick up food, you know, the first stage, and then say go ahead and associate that. That's kind of complex to say the least, and they'll probably end up putting it in the wrong spot anyways. So it's just better to let them submit all the support tickets in one location, and then you associate them yourself, like we did inside of Tuleap. You associate the actual support, the ticket that they submitted with the actual project, sub-project stage that it needs to go with. And again, some of the information drop into standard SAP. And this just is always there, formatted the document to put that information. Okay. Oh, another nice thing is that, especially like when you're dealing with vendors and even your own internal employees, there is no reason that they need to know what the budget is. They just need to be given X amount of time to complete a task. Especially for your vendors, they don't need to know that they have $10,000 to work with, and so we're gonna go take it to 9,900, and then then we'll call it done. There's just no reason for that. So you can just set instead of giving them the budget, give them billable effort that you believe it takes. What's nice about this as well is that they can submit their time as they're doing the work, and you can watch that deplete. Let me hop back on here. So one of the things that we submitted a time against support ticket. So let's hop back in there. You know what? Before I edit that, let's take a look at the ticket itself. So this is ticket number. So in ticket number 1, one of the things that we do is we usually give a quarter of an hour of billable effort to a support ticket that comes in. So 15 minutes. And if it goes beyond that, it's fine, but set a goal to have something done in 15 minutes. You might look at something for 2 or 3 minutes, go work on something else, pop back into it, but 15 minutes. And then you can actually have non-billable effort. So as you can see here on the billable effort and the non-billable effort, we have nothing for the non-billable. Now, you filed here, this one, up 0.3. That billable time. We went crazy in like half an hour of non-billable time because we were searching something. One of the things that fix. Oops. We did that against. Okay. Oops. Sorry. See, now it's auto calculate. So every time they enter in their timesheet, so if you have them do it daily, you can keep a really tight reins on overbilling and it going out of control. Because now we see that we've used up, 0.3 and 0.5 against, what we had originally estimated. Now, I'm one of those kind of people that's not a stickler for the overs so much, because we kind of work at a story level. If you sit there and you watch at the task level, like a waterfall where you have a milestone and you have a task, you pay attention so closely to that individual task. You go, oh wow, you're double the time on that individual task. But it's hard to measure that because they were under on 10 other ones, 10 other tasks that they were working on. But the ones that stand out are the ones that are over. So working at the story level, kind of just grouping all of those tasks together, makes it a little bit easier going through all of that. And with that, you can also then create burn down charts. Burn down charts would allow you to, show graphs of that information. Pop over projects. Go. Oh, by the way, you get these nice, graphs that you can put together. You can, show things, what percentage of things are done, how many these incidences took place. Instead of, you can do a Gantt chart if you wish. Go into project demo. So here's our project demo. So we set it up with some of our cards on here so we can see what's going on. These are our sub projects that we're working on. This is the project level. This is sub project level. Got that going. Yeah. Use your agile dashboard so you can set up your sprints and your planning, and you can have a burn down chart so you can see all of that that's taking place. You want a Kanban, you can go ahead and set up a Kanban board. All sorts of things you can do. I guess I can show how we wrap it up. So here's the project. So you want to add, a new, let's see, burn down chart. You want to add a new graph. This is going to be art. Speak louder. I gotta speak louder. I gotta speak into the microphone. Thank you. So now we'll submit that. And maybe, so we'll save that. Come into your little new chart that you created here. You come here. So you want a Gantt. There you go. You got a Gantt. You can set up a Gantt for yourself. Go back. Gantt. Maybe you want, I like pie. Maybe I'd like to have a bar instead. Yeah. Always be easiest. Boom. Oh, and you can group it by other things. So you can set it up any way you like. Wow. So much stuff to go over. I mean, every time I start talking about Tuleap and just all the features and functionality, I really don't even have much time to cover half of it. Because at this PM tracker level, you can set up your hierarchy. So you can set hierarchy for your releases, your sprints, your epics, blah blah blah. But you can also then have your email notifications. If you want to send out one of the things like a date reminder. Person that we assign something to and it's older than 2 days, or maybe 2 days before it's 2 days before due, or maybe it's 2 days after, and we say if the status marker hasn't moved, that means we haven't moved the card from any one of its stages, like to do. Just add that in there, and boom. Now that person will get an email 2 days after the person who was assigned that task to do. So many to work with. Like the workflow. Workflow is awesome. It's one of the things that's missing. In most project management systems, that and the flexibility. I mean, you see all the fields that I've added for, and laid it out the way I want to lay it out. Setting up the PM status, who I'm assigning this to, like in this case here, at the top of the project management inside of SAP, we have a waiting authorization. So then maybe they need to sign off on something to do. Again, anything that is underneath this will automatically roll up into these. So as we add more tasks, the billable effort will go up as we use, because these are autocomplete, as we use up that resource of the effort that we've been assigned, it'll automatically roll into here. So we can keep a really good eye on the amount of time that's being spent against a project. Okay, I think with that, I think I'll call it. It's like been like a little, not quite an hour yet. Let me check and see if we have any information that's popped in here. Just me saying hello. I guess nobody joined our live web streaming. I'm so sad, but you all get to watch it afterwards. I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk about. And with that, I wish you all a great Thanksgiving if you're here in the US. If you're abroad, then happy Thursday to you tomorrow. Yes, tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Enjoy. Thank you.